Sam Larry and others were bullying Mohbad was because Mohbad discovered that the boy did not belong to him and accused his wife. So they were looking for a way to take his life so that reality will not be known to the whole world. They accused Sam Larry for some time. Then they switched to Obaile. The earlier claim was that Sam Larry and Obaile belonged to the same family. But Obaile came out to say, no, we are not blood relations. It's just a regular person often found around the beach and all that they did not have any close relationship. From accusing Sam Larry, they moved to Obaile, and the attack on that traditional ruler is extremely terrible. I can't describe the way people have been attacking him, especially Nigerians based abroad. What I see, and I've talked about the fact that the internet has changed our world in many ways, is the greatest invention since light. But people continue to abuse the internet. They abuse the social media. And a lot of these people do what they do because they believe that they cannot be apprehended. They are far away from here in Nigeria. You can see the other day somebody experienced a rush in the head and claimed that Choma Jesus' child actually belonged to Nathaniel Bassi.
Mercy Chinwo.
Mercy Chinwo, right, okay, yeah. You know, I mean, what? It's just, see, I'm sorry to say, a lot of these people abroad, some of them work as caregivers, nannies, babysitters, and the rest. When they get back home, they are idle, they pick their phones, and they just start recording all sorts of things. And because TikTok and others pay for the content that they generate, they are doing their best to drive traffic. You can imagine the way they are swearing for a little boy. Even if Elegushi were indeed the father of Liam, the biological father of Liam, you can't stand the way they swear at that little boy. Ah, Liam Shekuni. You know, somebody would spend like 5 minutes just wishing that boy dead.
A little child.
A child
innocent.
Under 1 year at the time. That Liam would die. You Elegushi, because you don't have a male child. That's why you went and impregnated that girl so that you can have a male child. In your family, you do not have male children. Come on.
It's really sad.
What the king thought initially was that he could ride the whole saga. But he didn't stop. So he had no choice. At a point too, I felt, look, this man had to talk. This man had to explain all he knew about this whole thing. And that's what I think he has done by getting security operatives involved and trying to see if, by virtue of his petition, they can get hold of some of these people. Let them come and explain and show to us the evidence that they have. Because it's extremely distasteful to not have evidence. No DNA has been done, yet you can look into your camera and insist that Elegushi owns that child. I mean, I don't know why we've degenerated to this point, honestly.
Well, let's come to Emeka. The Oba has described the accusation as baseless, and he has now filed a petition against those who are propagating the allegations against him. Do you see that as enough deterrent, against people who peddle these baseless rumors just for the fun of it?
Social media is like an alternate reality. You don't know who is actually, unless, for those of us who use our real names, you don't know who is actually on the other side. You even see people with real names, like a security expert told me. that you see people with real names, but the identity is fake. They will go and get somebody's photograph from somewhere, get somebody's name, So in tracking such people, sometimes you just run into a dead end. So I think, especially now that the Nigerian government is trying to, deal with some of these things, and then broaden cooperation with these companies, these social media operators. I think it makes sense to really talk to them. That, when people make reports, when people make complaints, because there are times, people may report a post or report a video, but they'll just tell you, like, especially Facebook will tell you it doesn't go against their community standards. But that may be because their algorithms have not been set to, to really understand certain things. Something like this, in some countries in the West may not be more than just a rumor. Doesn't matter, They're accusing someone, it doesn't matter. But in a society like ours, it can be damaging. It can really do a lot of damage. So I think government and security agencies should deepen their discussions, their conversations with people, because it's not just, we are talking about Mohbad. He's gone, may so rest in peace. But there are some other people too. Somebody, for instance, look at an actor, came out to say certain things about, the relationship between Junior Pope and his wife, that he told him certain things. And I'm now wondering, people are still mourning somebody who died, and then you are bringing out this kind of a thing. What purpose do you want to serve with this? Even if the man and his wife, were beating each other or were having any issue, I think, well, there are certain things that are just not necessary, That should be within the realm of the family. Right now, the families, people are still processing, especially the family is still processing the reality that this guy is dead. Some people are even saying it's a movie stunt. Some are hoping that they will just say, oh, suddenly that, and then you're not coming out to say this kind of a thing. But you see, it also says a lot about, maybe the psychological makeup of certain people, whether they need psychiatric help or something like that, I don't know. But you see, you cannot, the fact that there's freedom of expression, you don't let your rights block another person's rights. You must know where your rights end. It's not everything you have to bring to social media. Straight to that of Legushi. The person who is making the accusations, you will just see people jump on it and start supporting it. And the basic thing is that who alleges must prove. The person is not bringing any proof, not bringing any document, not even related to Legushi, not even in any way. You ought to know, for a reasonable person ought to know that this is just a prankster. Or this is somebody who is just maybe having some, issues upstairs. But you are coming out to say, okay, fine, it's good that he has reported to the police. So if the police can track the person, let the person come out and provide this. But definitely it's just a weird prankster. That's, just...
It's not one person. There are so many.
No, that is not,
And the way it happens is that negative news like this spreads really fast.
People do some of these things to also maybe get views.
Yes, that's the...
To get likes, to get traffic, and also maybe to get jobs, to say, okay, just watch.
I'm a content creator.
Yes, I can get so and so likes. I can get so and so likes so that you give me this job.
And they will even be paid. They will be paid by the social media giants, who
and even
it's
not payment that is even driving this.
And say, look at
people don't care what they
somebody
post.
Like this.
People don't care what they post as long as it generates money for them. The other day, someone claimed that this famous billionaire in the southeast, from Anambra, the one who was into building power plants during the Obasanjo era. And he had to arrest the guy. He got him arrested, and he was made to record himself apologizing. They just do these things. Believing that they will get away.
It's also about
the initial allegation.
The traffics, and to traffic the likes, and to also use it to get jobs.
All right.
For different organizations.
But the bottom line is that
products online.
People should really watch out. No need to tarnish other people's image because
no, when you even supporting it, when you see it.
Don't like, don't reshare, confirm, verify before you make any moves. All right, it's a new song in policing in Rivers State as the bad boys are getting bloody noses. In another blow to criminal gangs troubling the state, the police command announced the killing of a notorious gang leader, Peter Chukwu, popularly known as Daddy Chukwu. He was suspected to be responsible for the murder of the Community Development Committee chairman in Obiakpo local government area of the state, Ndidi Livingstone. While briefing journalists in Port Harcourt about the development, the State Commissioner of Police, Olatunji Disu, said Daddy Chukwu and his gang also invaded the community in a separate attack and killed 22 persons on the 9th of October 2017. Let's share the story by TVC News' Uche Okoro with you.
October 2017, TVC News visited the scene of an overnight shooting spree in Ngboshimini community in Port Harcourt that left 22 dead. Some victims and eyewitnesses at that time named one Mr. Peter Chukwu, also known as Daddy Chukwu, as the mastermind of the attack. It was this incident that landed the prime suspect the #1 spot on the police most wanted list. Since then, Daddy Chukwu has allegedly continued to engage in murder, extortion and kidnapping amongst others. The police intensified efforts to track him down after he led the gang to kill a community leader in front of his family in church in January this year.
He was found hibernating in the residence of his herbalist, where he went for spiritual fortification. And in an attempt to escape, he was fatally wounded and he succumbed to the injury before arriving at the hospital.
The suspect is accused of carrying out several successful and failed assassination attempts. During a recent raid on a hotel where he escaped capture, the police uncovered a hit list containing 11 names. Finally, he was traced to his hideout in Delta State and killed in a gun battle.
This gang are so sophisticated to the extent that they installed a tracking device on the vehicle of the person they wanted to kill. And at the same time, he had a wonderful network of informants at his beck and call, and he used them for intelligence gathering concerning him.
Just like this woman who witnessed the killing of her husband by the suspect, residents of Ngboshimini are celebrating. For the victims, this is justice, and for the community, it is freedom.
I wish there's something I can do. Heart is something you see to know exactly how somebody feels. I am very proud of Nigerian police.
He came to my house to pick me up with his gang, took me to his barracks, flogged me up for about 6 hours. After then, he cut off my ear for no reason.
Investigation led to the arrest of these suspects, but the police said they would not rest until all members of the gang are apprehended. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Port Harcourt.
So in Rivers State, action is being taken. Jide, the police is stepping up efforts to rid the state of criminals.
Yes, I've been really impressed with Olatunji Disu since he got to Rivers State to do the job of CP Rivers. He was in that state earlier as commander of the, what's it called, SAS in the state. He was at one time commander of SAS in the state before coming to Lagos to be commander of RRS. And then he became the IG's right-hand man as, what do they call them? Like chief of staff to the IG, but there's something, there's a way they call them, I'll remember later.
Principal staff officer.
Principal staff officer to the IG. Yes, the job that Kano did to
Kano,
Tafa Balogun,
yes.
when Tafa Balogun was IG, Principal Staff Officer. So, from Principal Staff Officer, he moved to Rivers. As someone who had worked in that place before, familiar with the bad boys in that area as a SAS commander, I'm not surprised that he's recording successes in that place. Remember the fellow who killed a DPO in broad daylight, butchered him and posted the pictures of the DPO after he was butchered. They ambushed the DPO, who was responding to a distress call, ambushed him and then dismembered him and filmed themselves. They got him. All of the boys, they first got the boys around him, and invariably the Rivers police took him out of circulation. This is exactly what they've done. 7 years. This guy, Daddy Chukwu was on the wanted list, was moving from state to state. Invariably, they got him in Delta State, where he had gone to see his herbalist. You see, the Bible says there is no peace for the wicked. You take people's lives. You kill dozens of people in one day. On the day that they stormed the hotel where he was hibernating, they found a hit list. So if the police had not made him to leave town, by the fact that they were closing in on him, he probably would have taken out all of those people. He would have killed them. 11 persons on his list. So, patience pays. And the daring also often gets his reward. For all these years, they looked for him. Invariably, they got him. And you can see now that the people are happy. I listened to a woman who was saying, I'm proud of the police, I'm very proud of the police. That's the widow of one of Daddy Chukwu's victims. I can feel the joy of a lot of the family members of those victims, because this will serve as some measure of justice for them, that this guy has been taken out. And kudos to the police. I've always said it, that when the police want to work, especially when you touch one of their own, they do a diligent job. The Nigerian police is reputed to be of international standard, and that's why they may not have all the tools. We may not respect them, but when they go abroad, they never fail to do us proud. This is another evidence that the Nigerian police can deliver the goods if you encourage them sufficiently.
All right, Chukwu, the Nigeria police, making giant strides in River State. But then, Jide mentioned something about the fact that they're of international repute, especially if and when you touch their own. But it doesn't have to get to that before the acts, in every situation.
Yeah, that when we talk about, overhauling the police, I believe it should go beyond just reforms. Because these are individuals who are trained. Police are trained. You go to training, but the idea that you can, put them in just any kind of conditions in the barracks, the idea that you can move them about just anyhow in open, vans, and attach them to public individuals, to play roles that are not, you can't find in their service manual. I think those are some of the things that really make, the Nigerians not to have much confidence in the police. And so these things become a psychological, weight on them. So, well, you can do the job anyhow, who cares? And the emphasis on, everything you must pay, everything you must demand a bribe and all of that. I hope this is something that one day will somehow be removed from the police. Because Nigerians really want to work with the police. They really want to love their police. Which country wouldn't want to love their police? It's a national, like I would say, it's a national institution, the national heritage. You go into any country, the police policemen are people you will surely see regularly on a daily basis, So, and there's a tendency to, gauge how the citizens of the country, how the people generally behave when you look at the policemen. So, I think, yes, it's true. When they go abroad, they win laurels and all that because they are well trained. But the environment, hinders them from really putting in their best. And so what do? They just fall back to, that, odious Nigerian factor. They just fall back, well, we just do it anyhow, at least end of the month I get my salary. And how much is the salary? So I think the authorities really need to just go beyond police reform, overhaul the entire system. Let professionalize the police. You cannot treat the accountant of your company anyhow now. You can't treat any people in a proper organization. You can't treat anybody anyhow. So make the police a professional organization such that people will be proud to join the police, and then you remove misfits. Then you will see that, let me tell you, people, the tendency, the inclination for people to commit crime will be removed. Look at what Satunji is doing. Look at his antecedents. And I'm not surprised. Look at the other day, they said the reporter was kidnapped. Within a few hours, he was, freed. So what are we talking about? You see, a fruit does not fall far from the tree. This is a CP that has been, that has shown dedication to duty. And now, as a CP, he is putting in so much effort. It's not easy policing Rivers State. It's not easy policing that state. But so far, so good. I wish him all the best, and I wish he can, really leave a good mark before he's transferred or promoted to higher duties.
And I think it's important also for citizens to trust
trust
the police, cooperate.
You can hurt, but love the police. They are good, they are bad. You just continue to speak out, continue to hope, continue to pray that they get better.
All right, now, Nigeria is not at war with any country, but it appears it is at war with itself, owing to rising cases of violence within. A security consulting group, Beacon Security and Intelligence Limited, said crime wave in the country is on the rise, with 812 people killed and 855 citizens abducted in March alone. In its latest reports, Beacon Intel said a total of 770 incidents were recorded in the month, indicating a 4.19% increase compared to the 739 recorded in February 2024. The group blamed the increasing violence in the country on terrorism, armed banditry, and ethnic militia. Chuku, what's your take on this report by Beacon Consulting?
Yeah, I think it's really, it mirrors the situation in the country. Insecurity remains, I think, the biggest threat, to Nigeria as a country. Because like we say, there's an African proverb that says, where there's life, there's hope. Yes, hunger is also a problem. But you see, a man or a woman who is alive has hope that somehow or the other, through divine providence or so, food will be available. But you see, when people's lives are treated, like nothing by criminal elements, then what it means is that the authorities should be very concerned. They are concerned, yes, they are dealing with these things, but I think one of the things we need to look at are the socioeconomic factors that predispose people to crime. And that is where CSOs is also good that CSOs are compiling data, are providing such data. It's also important that they are crying out to say, look at this, let's deal with these issues, such that everybody will know that we have a role. If you see something, you say something. And then we don't condone crime because our person is involved, because somebody from our ethnic group or the region is involved. A crime is a crime, and it must be condemned. So let us continue to encourage CSOs. CSOs have a big role to play in ensuring that the society, that crime is brought to the barest minimum. We are not traditionally a country of criminals. You know, I mean, but there's no country in the world, I think, that has in its anthem, you know, that we're a country of criminals. There's no country in the world. So definitely Nigeria can't be aspiring to be such a place.
Definitely not. Yeah. Well, Jide, let's get your views on this.
It's really troubling that insecurity clearly is getting worse, and the facts speak for themselves. If we had, in the month of February, we had 654 cases of kidnapping, and then in March, it rose to 855. Then we should be really concerned. And across all the metrics that they used, there was significant increase in crime. Of course, the abduction of those school children in Kaduna must have played a big part, but it is clear that we need to do better at protecting our people, especially from armed bandits, because armed banditry is on the rise, and it's because kidnappers often get away with their crime. The armed robbery is no longer fashionable. It's too risky. But a lot of people get involved in kidnapping, and they make good money, and they don't get caught because we continue to use 19th century methods to deal with the situation. We need to deploy technology. Technology will help us be able to pinpoint the location of bandits and deal decisively with them. We'll need to be more aggressive. I demanded for an all-out war. I hate reading that we are not at war. Of course, we are at war. War does not necessarily have to be brought to your door, all the way from maybe another country before you know that you are at war. Because a civil war, for example, is a war. These bandits have declared war on our country, and we can't continue to use methods that suggest that we are even indulging them.
You know, Judy, sometimes, yeah, we hear about the fact that the locations of these bandits are known. But then it's a risky situation because they tend to use the civilians they've kidnapped as human shield.
That's true, but the point that I'm making is you don't wait until they kidnap people before going to take them out.
Yes, actively.
I think on Friday, we discussed a bandit that, in my view, will go into history as the greatest killer of Nigerian soldiers. He was killed by a fellow bandit in Zamfara State, and I knew his camp. I stood about 300 meters away from his camp. So if I knew his camp, why would the Nigerian army, for example, Nigerian Air Force, not go to bomb the place? I came like 300 meters close to his camp. Everyone in the village, Shimfida village in Jibia local government of Katsina State, everyone there knows his camp.
So why wasn't it taken out?
In fact, his fighters, as I was doing my peace to camp, his fighters were passing through the road. They were standing like a meter from me, walking, riding away.
So is it like we're indulging them?
You see, we have to be more aggressive. We know their camps. Go and level these guys. That boy killed 16 soldiers in one day and injured 28 in that same area that I visited. Yet, there was no vengeance on the part of the Nigerian army. In fact, on this program, I came on this program one day and I said, I'm alarmed that he killed 16 soldiers. Out of these 16 servicemen, 3 were officers.
Wow.
Major, lieutenant, colonel. Yet we did not avenge the killing. I came here on the particular day to say, what's going on? Why wouldn't we avenge it? And we can avenge. They ambushed them. There were troops, who were on foot, and then his men ambushed them and wasted them. It took a fight between him and another bandit, Dankremi, Kachala Dankremi, before the guy was eventually exterminated. Because Dankremi killed him. They had a quarrel. He accused Dankremi of stealing livestock belonging to his relation. And then it went to his camp. He went to Dankremi's camp, not knowing that they knew he was coming. So they killed him. My source told me that they actually cut his throat like a ram. But some other accounts said he was shot because there was a gun battle that lasted for hours between them. Well, the point I'm making is all these big bandits in the north, whether it's Bello Tuji or Kachala or Dogogide, they have camps.
And their camps are known.
The camps are known. In fact, Bello Tuji at a point was even attending Jumat prayers. I don't know if he has stopped.
So let's talk about the communities involved. I mean, residents in those
people
villages.
will be scared.
Like people
to talk.
No, they talk, but the thing, sometimes too, they pay heavily. Or these guys will come back and waste. The last killing of people in Gaydam local government by Boko Haram, it was because they suspected that the residents told troops about their movement, and the troops went after them and took them out. That's why they came back and killed more than 40 people of that village. So I don't think that, I don't want to believe that our people don't give information. I am asking for an all-out war against them. That is the solution. Otherwise, we could see that in the month of April, this could go up. Yes. These guys don't think that they should give up banditry because they are making a lot of money. The kind of money that they made from those train passengers of 2 years ago, March 28. You can't believe it. One person, they took 100 million per head. And people, I know a person here in Lagos that the company said, okay, we are going to put down 60 million. You, his friends, go and raise the remaining 40 million. I know, out of those victims.
And all of that in the face of...
a difficult environment, economic environment.
And with the directive not to even make payments, I mean, not to pay ransom.
No, the law is there, but people will not obey the law. When the life is at stake, do you think, if, let's pray it doesn't ever happen. If someone kidnaps my wife, do you think my best friends won't go and look for money to get her out?
I even said it here, and a friend of mine who was kidnapped now. They had to open a WhatsApp this thing, and calling people all over the world.
Blood is taken and water.
People had to rally around, gather money, and rescue him, because it's been an old friend, so it was just...
If people have firm guarantees that the armed forces would deliver, would look for those guys and rescue, they won't be paying ransom.
And the earlier action is taken, the better, because the rainy season is settling in, very quickly, and the bushes would sprout, and it would be difficult.
Do you know one other thing is this? Apart from maybe Lagos and some other states, a lot of states don't have security trust funds. So, and they don't realize that those security trust funds also have a way of boosting, crime fighting. So instead of people paying ransoms, if people are encouraged to support those security trust funds. Yes, the responsibility of government to fund the fight against security. But in a situation like ours, people will gladly donate to security trust funds. You know, if they are sure that the firepower of the government, you know, through the security agency will be so intense as to dismantle all this.
No, government can even introduce taxes. You know, you can tax luxury items and set aside some of the funds to boost security. You know, it's not a bad idea at all.
All right.
And we just have to protect our people. These figures are troubling, and it suggests that we still have a long way to go.
I think companies are paying this. There's this for this police trust fund. I think they are paying tax. There's some 0.something%, you know, of that companies. I think companies pay.
No, it depends on the states. States have their different modules they adopt. The big companies in Lagos are actively involved in funding the security trust fund. And
no, I think it's a federal something.
No,
which is tax. When companies pay company tax, I think there's a federal. Tax.
I know that for the police, the part of the, I don't know if they eventually.
I think President Buhari signed it.
I don't know whether it's been passed into law.
All right.
I'm not sure.
All right,
but it will have been a good way to fund the police. I know they went far, just like even the NYC. Part of the, the NYC trust fund too. Part of company taxes ought to go to funding the NYC trust fund, so that as people are coming out of NYC, the skills that they learned in the camp, because they usually train people in the camp, they can then be given some money to go and start. But that one has not been passed into law. I don't know what happened along the way.
All right, gentlemen. Let's look at another issue. There is no peace for the wicked. It's a popular Bible verse among Nigerians. And this appears to be the message of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for forex racketeers. The EFCC says hotels, schools, and other establishments that accept payments in dollars from their customers risk arrest. The EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, vowed that action would be taken against individuals who are involved in the dollarization of the economy. He said charging local activities and customers in dollars is against the Constitution. Nigeria trades, spends, and transacts in Naira, and then you wonder why some friends... As a legal tender, yes. Then you wonder how and why some institutions will be charging in foreign currency. Jide?
It's because we permitted them.
Yeah.
You cannot go to South Africa, and it's something that I witnessed. I think I've even recounted that experience here before. You can't spend the dollar in the open in South Africa. In the duty-free shops, yes. Those duty-free shops in the airport and all that, you can. But nobody will take it from you for any, no matter how you try to persuade the person, he's not going to agree. I wanted to buy a CD of a Christian. I begged him, he refused. But in our country, people will even advertise and say you should bring dollars. It's crazy.
Go to any bank vicinity. Dollar gold, dollar gold.
I mean, no, to even buy things or to say that you want to check into an hotel, you pay in dollars. Or you want to buy a property.
Or pay school fee.
Pay for rent on Lagos Island, for example, and you bring out another country's currency. That is responsible for the unbridled appetite for the dollar. Because people lost complete interest in our own currency. They will prefer, some people, they don't even give people gifts except in dollars. we watch our currency decline rapidly, and then we almost switch totally to the dollar. So, and it's not as if, you remember what this lawmaker from Delta, the senator from Delta, the one who married the young actress,
Ned
Nwoko said. He told the president, he said, ban the use of the dollar completely. There are, in a lot of hotels, they will even quote some of their rates in dollars. Are they crazy? Does that happen in other places? So the EFCC has to show seriousness, and they can catch these people. Let us see whether anybody will advertise in school again and mention what people should pay in dollars. Then you go for such people and arrest them.
Right.
When Bobrisky was arrested, people are saying, no, he's high-handed. Well, what is high-handed?
The law is the law.
The judge operated within the law. The judge didn't sentence him outside of the law. So what are you talking about? In fact, the judge did not apply the law fully. If the judge wanted to apply the law fully, the judge will have fined him and as well jailed him, because the law prescribes that.
Yes.
The law says that you can fine, because the law says, or both is there. But people, they won't even read the law and they will say, oh, it's high-handed. What is high-handed? The judge never did anything outside of the law. So tomorrow now, if the EFCC arrests people and they jail them for spending dollars, as if the dollar is a medium of exchange, Nigerians will go on social media and say, oh, it's high-handed. Let's not send. Then you now see some social media activists, influencers, who have not bothered to read the law because they are too lazy to read. You now see them say, oh, let's not give the impression that we can apply the law in a wicked manner. What is wicked? The guy deserves to go to jail. It's as simple as that.
Well, let's bring in, Emeka. EFCC says Forex racketeers are in for a tough time.
Let me tell you something. We need to do something about how we look at our country, Nigeria. It's so sad. You see somebody will relocate abroad and now record a video where he burns his Nigerian passport, where he tore his Nigerian passport. I saw something like that. For a few seconds, I froze. You know, Nigeria, we believe that Nigeria should be regarded in the negatives. Everything about Nigeria, many people, is just useless and of no consequence. And it trickles down. It comes right from our leaders. The way, the attitude of our leaders tells a lot on the people. And so the people will say, after all, look at what people were saying now, that after all, Bobrisky was not the only one. After all, there are videos of Nigerian politicians, Nigerian, top people in government, spraying money and all of that. I think we need to deal with that problem. It is a problem. Because when people don't even regard the Naira as anything, as in it is just a few inches from being like tissue paper, then what happens? What it shows is that the National Orientation Agency...
the way people step on our currency, do they step on dollars?
It's horrible.
It's not as if they don't have the dollars, but they show so much respect.
No, they'll put the dollars in bags.
In our own currency, they will be marching on it, will be stomping on it. They've forgotten that it's a symbol of our national heritage. The dollar is, the Naira is the Nigerian identity.
Anywhere in the world.
So you now step on it, they will spray it and then be walking on it. They will not even pick it. You see people, So it's true that some of our leaders have done this. But this new EFCC chairman, remember there is a jingle that is running on TV stations, including TVC, where he's warning people not to spray. If we go on break now, they will play it. He's warning people, don't spray the Naira. Don't spray the... He's warning. When he goes to arrest two people now, you will say he left some people behind. The law has been there since 2007. Bob Reckland said he does not know that it was wrong to do it. Well, it's been there since 2007.
But there have been reports now about...
Well, people have been arrested. People have been convicted.
Have been convicted.
It's not the first
the other
person.
thing is that if you look at the health implications, this is Naira that exchanged for hand to hand, and then people are spraying it on
and the smell
your body,
of the
spraying
mint
it on your body, and you are happy. You are happy to, you see Naira on your body. And you are sniffing, you are inhaling some. No, you see money. You heard like the Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Because you love money so much, you don't mind, your body being desecrated with Naira cascading, and tomorrow you'll be wondering where sicknesses are coming from. It is wrong. It's good. I commend the FCC, and they should keep it up. But the National Orientation Agency should do its job. Sensitize Nigerians, everybody different.
Like those
don't spray Naira.
Talking about those jingles.
To play them repeatedly.
Even the orientation agency can design their own. The EFCC designed some in both Hausa and Yoruba language. Unfortunately, we cannot play it on our channel because it has to be in English. But I really liked the Yoruba version because the ordinary Yoruba person, the illiterate, can now see that, oh, it's wrong to spray money.
Yes, and for those who, talk about the Nigeria Owambesta, some have come to see this spraying thing as part of
you can put
it in our culture. No, it's
put it in bag.
So there are better ways to package the
culture
and give it.
It changes.
It's our culture, no doubt. People keep saying, in fact, one deluded person said on social media that everyone does it. I said, what did you just say? That everyone does it?
So even if
How
everyone
do you
does
say
it,
everyone
it does
does
not
it?
make it right.
We don't all do it. It's not everybody that does it. Some people have self-respect. If they want to give you money, they'll put it in an envelope. I had a boss, for example, who will never spray money. He will just put it in the envelope and give you. That's how decent people behave. Not to show, because spraying money is like showing off. Why should you spray him when you can quietly slip it into his hand in an envelope?
Or somebody can hold the bag, you just put it inside.
Drop it in the bag.
They will appreciate it.
All right.
You instead of say, oh, it's our culture, even if culture...
It can change.
If culture is not good, there's nothing, culture, and we are stepping on it, we are marching on it.
The culture is not static now.
Somebody told me that, look, we are the ones who deface our currency, that in other lands, you see people, they will line their notes, their currencies, they will line it inside their wallets, and it will be neat, well kept.
Even when they want to, pay with it.
Yes, it is we now who will squeeze
and just
squeeze it.
All right, gentlemen, let's look at other issues. The political rumble between the camp of Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State and his predecessor, Abdullahi Ganduje, is shifting to the court. The Kano State government has filed criminal charges against the immediate past governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, over alleged $413,000 and 1.38 billion naira bribery. Joined as co-defendants in the case are Ganduje's wife, Hafsat, and his son, Umar. The state said it has assembled 15 witnesses to testify against Alhaji Ganduje. Meanwhile, the Coalition for Truth and Justice has welcomed the proposed probe of Ganduje's tenure as Kano State governor. But the convener of the coalition, Obinna Francis, urged Governor Yusuf to extend the probe to the administration of Rabiu Kwankwaso. He stressed that selective justice is a threat to society, saying that failure to investigate Kwankwaso and others will be seen as biased and political. Jide, Kano State.
Yes, I like the fact that non-governmental organization did not say don't probe Ganduje, or did not say don't put Ganduje on trial. They didn't say that, because to say that would be hypocritical. But the point that they are making is, if you want to look at an era, if you want to fight corruption, you can do a tie-back. But don't do a tie-back that suggests that you want to leave out your godfather. Because even your godfather is a very recent political phenomenon. You get the point that I'm making. If you say, okay, I want to, let's look at how Kano had been bled over the years. During that period, there were many reports that were received about your own godfather. But because you don't want to embarrass him, you now decided to ensure that the whole probe is limited to the era of a different person. That would suggest that there's an attempt to protect that person and focus on a particular person that you don't like. So now they are saying, okay, good. Put him on trial. You can do your probe because there's another probe. In fact, 2 different committees have been set up to probe Ganduje. Ganduje and Kwankwaso don't see eye to eye. I once predicted that they would never find themselves in the same party. And we saw what happened. One will live for the other. That's what usually happens. The same way that Shekarau and Kwankwaso cannot stay in the same party. One has to live for the other. It always happens. The same way that Atahiru Bafarawa would never be in the same party with Maga Takadawa Amako. There are some politicians like that. They would rather die than agree to be in the same party. We know that that's the way they are. So, but the point that these people are making is, Ganduje is not a saint. We agree. Neither is Kwankwaso a saint. There are stories about Kwankwaso that also need to be investigated. Why not move this probe? You set up 2 different committees to probe an individual's error. Why not move it back to include your own political godfather? That is the point. No, they are not saying, this attempt to put this person on trial is not good enough. No, that's not the point. I'm impressed by that. Whatever will make them look at the other people too will make the whole investigation and trial very wholesome. If I can actually add very to being wholesome, you know, that is what we want to see. We want a better Nigeria, and that's how it can happen. It can't happen by selective justice, selective probe, selective trial. No. Let's see that this is the thing. But whether Abba Kabir Yusuf, the governor of Kano, will be able to muster that courage is a different, is a question whose answer is blowing in the wind.
Well, let's get to Emeka. What do you think?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a very difficult one. Because Kwankwaso is his godfather. Then Kwankwaso's son is a commissioner in his, I think, in his cabinet. You know, I think, is it not married?
And he's his in-law.
He's his in-law.
He's the governor's in-law.
So the thing is intricate. But I think also the governor should have, kept himself away from this cul-de-sac by pushing it to EFCC to handle. Because now he has found himself in a situation whereby it will be difficult to probe Ganduje without touching Kwankwaso. Because Ganduje's camp will make, they are going to hire lawyers now. Ganduje will hire lawyers. And of course, he won't hire training lawyers.
Big Sam.
He's going to hire big Sams. And when the case starts going, definitely they will draw Kwankwaso into it. Yeah. You can trust lawyers. They will drag him into it. And at the end of the day, you may just find out that you want to discontinue. The government will end up, filing motion for discontinuance of the suit. So suits that have such political undertones, you have to be very careful. Yes, the fight against corruption must be sustained. It must be fought, frontally. It must be fought because it's a serious problem. But you must also be mindful of, landmines on the way so that you don't end up blowing yourself up, and destroying what ought to be a noble endeavor,
All right. Joining us via Zoom for more discussion on this issue is the National President of Northern Patriots, Comrade Dominic Alancha. Thank you for joining us, Comrade. This issue in focus, what do you say about it? Governor Yusuf, going all out to probe, Ganduje, who is his predecessor, but then there is a call for him to actually extend that probe to his own godfather, Rabiu Kwankwaso.
Thank you very much for having me. I think that Jide and Emeka have really said it all. It's unfortunate that Governor Abba is progressing in error. Instead of him focusing on, bringing or advancing governance in Kano State, which is the promise he made to the good people of Kano State, he's out on a witch hunt and a political vendetta against his predecessor. So I think really, and you see, I don't think he's really aware that even on this matter that is taking Ganduje to court, there is a judicial pronouncement on it that he cannot, or the state cannot prosecute him. It is the responsibility of Federal High Court, to prosecute that. And that falls within the purview of EFCC, like Emeka rightly said. So for me, this case is dead on arrival. And you see why people are saying that if he's really transparent enough, he should have gone back to, 2011, and then, or even 1999 to probe his master, his godfather, political godfather, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, because there are a lot of allegations against Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso that borders on, corruption, misappropriation, and then, of state resources. For example, in 2011, there was a 5-kilometer contract, that was supposed to be awarded to the 44 local government that resources was appropriated for. And, today, the good people of Kano State cannot point to 1 kilometer road in any of those 44 local government, that those roads, kilometers of road, 5 kilometers of road were appropriated. A whole lot of issues. But you see, what we are saying, if you want to probe Ganduje, it should be done on the basis of transparency and accountability. This case, as I speak with you right now, is diverting the attention of the people from demanding for accountability and good governance in Kano State. Right now, as I speak with you, he has shot himself on the foot. If you recall, 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the beginning of his administration, without looking at the books, without calling, for inquiry into, certain actions, that even his godfather took with regards to the demolition that, he carried out in Kano State. He went ahead to approve the demolition of, shops, businesses, people's home and stuff like that. Today, as I speak with you, Kano people are in, they are living in penury. His electioneering campaign, this is 11 months, but he has nothing to point to the on ground that are his achievement in the past 11 months. Rather, he's busy going about, setting up committees, probe panels to probe his predecessors and all of that. I think there is need for him to sit down, come back, sit on the table and, properly define, his agenda in the next 3 years, that he's going to spend as the, the governor of Kano State. Because from all indication, it seems he's not well prepared. If you go to Kano, one of the popular sayings people are saying about him is that he's an errand boy to Kwankwaso and all of that. And what bothers me as a citizen and as a member of as a Northerner and as a member of, as a Nigerian citizen, is the fact that there was a recent report that came out on good governance, how states are contributing in, addressing the mirage of challenges that, the nation is facing. Kano is rating very, very poor. In fact, that report states that there is nothing to point on ground in Kano that shows that he's doing anything at all to alleviate the, the challenges, the good people of Kano State are going through educationally, developmentally, economically, security-wise, and all of that. So it's a thing of concern. I think, he doesn't really need this thing. But people are not saying that you shouldn't, until you prove him guilty, he's still an innocent person. But again, what bothers a lot of persons is why bringing his family into it. His wife has never been, she does not oversee any budget or stuff like that. Neither does his son. Does that. There is no official allocation of resources for the family to manage. Now you are bringing them in. Whereas in your administration, you are appointing the children of your godfathers and your relations, to cabinet position and other position in the state. So I think he's progressing in error. And for me, this case will not see the light of the day because it will not stand any judicial test anywhere.
All right, gentlemen, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue on this discussion. Please stay with us.
I actually came to pay the money for the recruitment consultancy you did for my company.
Beautiful.
I took 2 million.
Just hold on. I now collect dollars.
What?
Yes. I don't understand what's happening to Naira these days. So it's going to be 2 million times today's exchange rate.
Doctor, wait. Doctor, wait. Don't tell me you are one of those people who directly put pressure on the Naira and make it lose its value. You want to dollarize our economy and yet you pretend as if you don't know what is happening to the Naira. I've told you about how you abuse the Naira by spraying and stamping on it during your occasions. You deface and abuse the Naira as if it's not our national asset.
But you have to take it easy.
How? I will not take it easy. And neither will the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Task Force on Currency Abuse and Forex Malpractice take it easy with you. They are coming for you. Desist from economic sabotage, or you will face the wrath of the law.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tariq Lagbaja Nigerian Army Medal, on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, announces the commencement of the Chief of Army Staff First Quarter Conference 2024, scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Monday 15th to Friday 19th April 2024. Venue, Army Headquarters, Command Officers Mess 1, Asokoro, Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Time, 8 a.m. daily. Nigerian Army, pride of the nation. Announcer, Major General Onyema Uwachiku, Director, Army Public Relations.
So watching journalists hang out on Sunday, and we are talking about the issue ongoing in Kano State, where the governor, Kabir Abba Yusuf, has filed criminal charges against his predecessor, Abdullahi Ganduje. But there is a call for him to extend that probe to his godfather, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. And, well, I have Jide and Emeka with me here in the studio, and Dominic Alancha is joining us via Zoom. All right, so Dominic, you are also supporting this call, and you've mentioned the fact that, it's unnecessary to bring, Mr. Ganduje's wife into this issue, considering that she's not a public official. So what do you think would happen if, say tomorrow, Governor Yusuf backtracks and hands this matter over to the EFCC, for instance?
Well, for me, I think that would have been the right step, because, like I told you, there is a judicial pronouncement that the state cannot, prosecute, Gandujes on these same trump-up charges. So the right thing for him to do is to back down on this and then allow the relevant agencies that have the capacity to prosecute this matter if there is any case at all of bribery, and all of that, that have been leveled up against him. So I think it is, if he really want to push on this matter, it is not the responsibility of the state judiciary or the attorney in the state to push on this by the court pronouncement. So he should obey court, pronouncement on this matter and then hands off from this state because, like I said, it will be dead on arrival. Because lawyers, like you said, he will hire his lawyers, they will bring their lawyers and they will argue it and you will see that it is going nowhere. If he truly and really want to serve the good people of Kano State, I think he should sit down and think of what are the needful for him to do and begin to do it. And governance for me should be the number one, priority or agenda on his table, as far as Kano State is concerned.
Jide has a question.
Many people see this as simply a continuation of the hatred and animosity between the two former governors, Ganduje and Kwankwaso. Do you see, because the court has set April 17 for Ganduje and his family to appear before it, do you see the APC national chairman appearing in court? You see that possibility?
Well, I don't know if I'm not his spokesperson. I'm not his spokesperson. So it's his personal decision to take whether to appear or not to appear. But as a law-abiding citizen, he knows what to do. It's either he goes to court, to stop, to get an injunction for him not to appear in court because the state do not have the capacity, and call on the state to respect the earlier judicial pronouncement on, on this same matter, that the Kano State do not have the power to prosecute him in court. It is only the EFCC, like you said, because this is, the allegation borders around economic crimes and stuff like that. So strictly, it is not the responsibility of the state to prosecute him. And that's why some of us are saying it is dead on arrival and it is only, witch hunting. It's a vendetta, and like you said, it's a continuation of political rival between the godfather of, Abba Kabir and Gida Gida, and then Ganduje himself. So the governor should not turn himself as an error boy to one political godfather because he supported him. It is the Kano people that gave him the mandate, to be there. What is he doing for the Kano people? Instead of, advancing governance in Kano State, what is he doing about education? What is he doing about health? What is he doing about the development of the state? The dilapidated, infrastructure that are on ground there. There are a lot of places that are not accessible to Kano indigenes in terms of road network and stuff like that. What are the things he's doing? So instead of him continuing with this, hatred, this vendetta, this political witch hunt against his predecessor, I think he needs to sit down and rethink on what to do in order to put himself on the good book of Kano people. Because I can tell you, if there is an election today in Kano State, Abba Gida Gida will not win the election because his emergence has ended up impoverishing the good people of Kano State. It has ended up taking them out of business as a result of some of the, policies he has introduced. The demolition, particularly that he demolished a lot of, houses, business centers, shops, plazas and all of that in Kano because they are, he claimed that they are government-owned property. I have it on good authority that even the very house that Abba Gida Gida is occupying is a government property. That he, when he was a commissioner, he commandeered to himself. So these are some of the issues. If you want to fight corruption, it should be done on the basis of transparency. It should be done on the basis of accountability. Go back to 2011 and then start the inquiry, bring out the issues.
Mr. Lancha, if you can hear me, these allegations you're making, we need to be able to prove them. You need to be able to substantiate that, okay, these things you're saying are true. This is live television.
Mm,
So just be mindful of that,
Perhaps that building was legally acquired because people buy government property. Sometimes they even sell. They can even auction your car to you.
And that is why when he came on board, he ought to, because look, from the information we are getting about the building that he demolished that make a lot of Kano people to be out of business today, they were properly, allocated, because the former emir of Kano is the one that initiated that moves, and then they allocate them. They allocate it to them. So, like you said, the house he is occupying may be properly and legally acquired. The same way other people's, shops and houses that he demolished were properly and legally acquired. So, what I am saying is this: you see, he should concentrate on advancing governance in Kano State, because this political crisis between him and his predecessors is just diversionary. It will not help him, and it will not allow him to concentrate and stay focused in advancing governance, in Kano State.
Are you saying the people of Kano are not happy that he's about to put the former government on trial? The former governor on trial. Is that what you are saying?
I can. Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, that the people of Kano are not happy with him. And in Kano, what they are saying, as I speak with you right now, is that he's running errand for him, because everybody knows, Nigerians know, that this thing is just a continuation of the fight between Ganduje and Kwankwaso, and not the fight between Abba Gida, and Ganduje, So what they are saying is that, look, concentrate on delivering governance to us. Like I told you, 11 months into his administration, by May 29, he will be 1 year. What has he achieved in office? Nothing to point to as his achievement. It worries him. It bothers the people of Kano State, and they are not happy with him because of that.
Well, if you talk about the people of Kano being unhappy, and would have to differentiate, is it being unhappy with him based on his performance,
based on
or unhappy with him based
because he's
on
going after
this probe, that is institution? And the governor has come out to say that this is no witch hunt. He's trying to get transparency.
Like I said, if you go to Kano today, they see Abba Gida as an errand boy to the former governor, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. That is not why they voted for him. So why will Kwankwaso be using him to winch hunt Ganduje? They are not happy about that. That's number one. Number two, they are not also happy because his involvement in this fight has, it did not allow him to concentrate on delivering governance to the people. His campaign promises, like I told you, is to advance education, advance health, the economy, and improve the security of the state as far as, is the chief security officer of that state. Now, among these things that I mentioned, there is nothing to point out, that Abba Gida has achieved in the last 1 year. If he has, some of his people are listening, they should come out and tell the good people of Kano State and Nigeria. Like I told you, there was a report, on governance index, and it put Kano on the low. It puts Kano on the low because they can't see anything that is pointing to his achievement, in this 11 months that he has spent in office. So the people of Kano State, they are not happy with him. And like I said, organize an election today, Abba will not win. NNPP will not win.
Okay, Emeka has a question for you.
Yeah, if you're saying that, of course, it's within the purview of the EFCC, we know, to investigate these matters, Now, while I expected you would have, now put out a call on the to the EFCC to say that they should step up the probe of Kwankwaso and then ensure that Ganduje, both of them are probed, so that the people of Kano State will benefit, so that there will be a balanced, so that the record will be balanced. So what are you saying at this point then?
Well, like I told you earlier, that there is a judicial pronouncement Perhaps we are not even supposed to talk about this issue because the matter is in court, you know. So maybe EFCC are waiting for the outcome of, the judgment from the court and stuff like that before they make a statement of stuff like that. I'm not a member of EFCC. All I am saying is that it is not within the purview. The states do not have the power based on judicial pronouncement, and the laws of the land. They do not have the power to prosecute Ganduje on the same trump-up charges that they have come up with.
All right, the National President of Northern Patriots, Comrade Dominic Alancha, thank you very much for joining us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday.
Thank you very much for having me. Good evening.
All right, let's now get to another matter. Decades ago, Nigeria's Afrobeat legend, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, popularized the phrase suffering and smiling, but it has continued to define situations in the country. While Nigerians suffer and groan under darkness due to epileptic power supply, the distribution companies' discos are smiling to the bank. According to reports, the 11 discos in the country raked in 3.2 trillion naira in the last 4 years, growing revenue by as much as 109% between 2020 and 2023. While Nigerians received 22,042.28 gigawatts per hour of electricity in 2020, power supply rose marginally to just 23,942 gigawatts per hour in 2023, and that's a growth of just about 8.6%. We are still far from the ideal, or so it seems. Well, gentlemen, Jide.
Yeah, I know that the discos are the face of the sector. They are the ones who collect money on behalf of others in the sector, because the electricity sector is like a relay. It starts from the GENCOs, they generate the electricity. Once they generate the electricity, they feed it into the national grid, and the transmission company of Nigeria has the responsibility to then wheel what has been generated to the discos. So the discos are the final leg, and they are the face of the industry. So they are the ones who collect money. They are the ones that we see. We don't see the GENCOs. We don't see TCN. But it's the discos that we see, that we interface with.
Yes.
They are the ones that we know. When we make any payment, it is to the discos. So the discos will pay the GENCOs. From there, the GENCOs can find the money to pay for gas, because more than 90% of the electricity that we generate are from gas-fired turbines. We only have, I think, 3 hydro plants, Kainji, Shiroro, and Jeba at this time. So we are relying heavily on thermal stations, gas-fired generating companies. We are relying heavily on them. So they need gas. It is the money that the GENCOs bring. The discos bring, having collected money from you and I, that they make available to the GENCOs for them to be able to pay for gas, pay salaries of staff, and all that. So that is the thing. I don't know whether this whole money belongs to the to the discos, because I have not seen the full story to know whether the entire money belongs to the disco. But knowing that they are the ones who collect money on behalf of GENCOs, we don't interface with GENCOs. We don't know them. We don't relate with them in any way. It's the discos that do that, on our behalf. So I don't know whether all of this money belongs to the discos. I also know that the discos have issues. They are not solvent enough. they are supposed to be investing regularly in the sector, but they are hampered by insufficient funds. And despite the government's best efforts, try to stabilize the sector by giving subsidy and all that, since the power infrastructure was sold by the Jonathan regime, the government has never failed to make money available to players in the sector. So it's like buying a house from you and still helping you to maintain the house. That is the unfortunate situation that we find ourselves. On the average, we barely struggle to wheel out 4,000 megawatts. Most times we just do like 3,000 or more. We are in such a bad state in the power sector. Our country is not able to generate 5,000 megawatts on a consistent basis. We've never wheeled out 6,000 megawatts. Wheeled as in the transmission company pushing to the discos and the discos, distributing up to 6,000 megawatts. It has never happened. Whereas you see a country like South Africa doing consistently between 48 to 50,000 megawatts on every given day, relying on coal. We have coal, where we've been heavily reliant on gas fire turbines. There are other sources of electricity generation that we can explore. We can explore solar. Mm-hmm. We have sunshine in abundance. Go to northern Nigeria. In fact, someone was telling me, although I'm yet to verify, that somewhere in Bauchi State called Jamari is the hottest part of Nigeria. I've not verified. But the point I'm making is we should be able to invest more on solar power, off-grid electricity access. We should be able to explore it more, because most countries of the world are focusing now on off-grid power solutions. The grid, the way it is now, is too... It can't continue to serve the whole of our country. The rural areas, for example, we should be able to give them off-grid power, solar, wind, and other sources.
All right.
Yes.
Let's bring in Emeka. Well, recently, NERC, the Electricity Regulatory Commission, announced, an increase by about 300% for those who are on Band A. Do you see this, for instance, improve the ability of, this sector to provide the much-needed power to Nigerians?
No, because we still, along the line, you also say that where a disco cannot provide that over 7 days, they should downgrade the feeder. They should downgrade that feeder. So there's no assurance, and that's part of the problem. Policy uncertainty. You make pronouncements, you threaten to deal with the discos, and at the end of the day, the discos continue to have the upper hand. How can you have 5.8 million unmetered customers? You go out on the streets, they cry everywhere, whether among the rich or the poor, give us meters, provide us meters. We don't have to pay for meters. They want government to reintroduce the national mass metering program and do away with the meter acquisition program. Because how do you expect people to cough up such huge sums, in these difficult economic times? So give us the national mass metering program, whereby, people pay as a recharge, they pay in installments. That's the cry everywhere. And secondly, we still have issues with discos not being able to meet up with just even basic power supply. You have weak, their feeders are weak. The customers provide transformers. The customers buy cables. The customers buy poles. Where there is any fault, the customers have to pay for their people to come and fix those. As I'm talking, there are many areas, as I speak, there are many areas that have been without electricity for years, for months. They'll tell you that the disco came, took away their transformer, and They've been trying to reach out. Nothing has been said. Where is our transformer? Why has our transformer not been brought back or replaced? Nothing has been said. And you now find DISCO officials behaving as if they are gods, as if, maybe they, are doing a free, offering an unpaid service to Nigeria. So what about the issue of estimated billing? The DISCOs are comfortable with estimated billing. And Nigerians are saying, no, we don't want estimated billing. We want to be able to pay for what we use. And that is a cry everywhere. So government must come out and really deal with this thing. The issue of transmission is up to the government. The national grid, definitely, anytime any attempt is made to increase, to run more power through it, it collapses. So the government has to decide whether we need to have a national grid or have an agreement with states on how this power will be generated. Because we generate much more than is, that is moved through the national grid. But at the end of the day, what happens? A lot of it is lost. Then even the DISCOs reject supply. Why? Because their systems are weak.
No, not just because. There are places where the people don't pay. So they would rather give electricity.
I was coming to that. Actually, but what about...
Because you just generalize to say because their systems are weak.
No, but in many instances...
I can tell you. Yes, let's be fair to these people.
Yes.
Because
I'm not being unfair to them.
No. I see people say, oh, the DISCOs are the weakest link. People say that do not know what is going on. There was a stress test that Siemens conducted that showed that the transmission leg was the weakest. Many Nigerians don't know this. It's easy for them to say, DISCOs are the weakest because that's what many people say. Yes. Because they are the ones that you interface with. Mm-hmm. You just said something a while ago that any attempt to push more power.
Yes.
Of course, we've not been able, we cannot let TCN, Sebi, the GENCOs can do up to 13,000 megawatts. Let transmission company attempt to push 6,000. Let us see.
It will not. That's not.
Just 6,000. Let us. Some of the power infrastructure have been there since 1860. So you expect them. If we don't, and that's why to freshen up a lot of the power infrastructure will cost a lot of money.
So much.
And a lot of time too.
And so that's why we suggested that why not try this off-grid electricity access.
I was even coming to...
There's an airport in India that runs 24 hours on solar, an airport. Mm. You can imagine the quantum of electricity that is generated for a whole airport to run on solar. We need to give a lot more of our communities electricity access. Through the Rural Electrification Agency, they can do a lot of off-grid. Look at the example of Lut. I did a documentary on Lut the other day. There was a time when surgeons in Lut were using their phones, light from their phone, to do surgery. Today, Lut has electricity 24 hours. And it's off-grid. It's the same thing that we suggested that they should do at, what was it called? UCH. Where they are embarrassing even our country by the quantum of debt that they are telling them to pay. Because UCH is in Nigeria, is the pride of our country.
So who's
the heritage about that, the history about UCH, we shouldn't allow it to go to ruination. Yes. The way we are seeing.
Right. So whose duty is it to effect some of these? In the case of UCH, for instance, is it the hospital management or
some people? There's a lot of electricity theft going on.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Some people bypass the meter. They are calling for meters. If you are not prepared to pay at a premium, don't bother to get a meter.
No, but that can
keep your
with technology.
Do your. Agree to estimated billing, because when you have the meter, you can no longer use electricity the way you like. The bill will be high. And people are now getting around that by bypassing their meter to steal energy directly. People don't talk about the quantum of energy theft that is going on in our country. Yet we want them to make money. Where are they going to make the money?
Yeah, but
people in places where people are reluctant to pay. I've seen videos of people beating up disco staff.
Which is criminal.
Dragging them down. There was one that was dragged down, he landed on his head.
Yes, which is...
You beat them up, especially in the areas inhabited by the Lazarus stratum of our society, the poor in our society. People are not prepared to pay for electricity. They're not prepared to pay. That is the truth. Let's tell ourselves the truth. And when the discos don't supply electricity to such people, you think they've done something wrong. Will you, as a business, continue to push electricity to people who are not paying? They are not giving the army. The army is owing them a lot of money. The other day, the army complained that some dead bodies in their mortuaries, are rotting away, and people are complaining because they are owing disco, is it Abuja or whatever, the disco, they are owing them a lot of money. Even Aso Rock was owing money the other day. Let's talk about some of the problems that have bedeviled that sector.
But we must find solutions.
Why should Aso Rock, why should, no, we won't be able to find solution if we simply say, these people are bad. This is, we are not, we have to look at the problem holistically.
Indeed, gentlemen, metering is important.
Will you agree to give electricity to people that habitually they don't?
No, but you can use technology to beat that.
How do you do
because
it?
importantly,
you can monitor them. If
importantly, for those who are gentlemen,
if I were in their shoes, honestly, I would not give you electricity. If I know you will not pay.
Yes, surely that's
so when they don't, when they stop, when they give them some what was it called? When they push, when they will power to them, and they hold back some. There are two major reasons for it. Sometimes, what you are willing, there is no capacity to receive everything. I admit. But there are places where people don't want to pay, and for that reason, they refuse to give them.
Gentlemen, we have a caller who would like to say something about this. Olawale calling from Ikorodu. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Okay, good afternoon, and God bless you. Please, I would like to make a brief comment on this energy problem. Hello, are you
yes, please
me?
Go ahead, Olawale, we can hear you.
Can hear you.
Okay. Hey, my encyclopedia, good afternoon.
I agree to you, sir.
Okay. Look, let us be decisive. Energy theft is one of the greatest problems in our country. People, anybody that let the consequences be very, very great and definite. If you steal energy, let go to jail for 2 years and let it be implemented. You will see that everything will work well in Nigeria.
Yes.
But by the time they steal the energy and you are just as a big man, traditional ruler will be phony. Leave them, politically exposed person will be saying, it's not the only one that has done it. No. We can't develop like that. We can't grow.
Yes.
We can't grow. We keep on blaming them. They have invested. They have to recoup something. God bless you.
All right, Olawale, you've made your point. Thank you very much.
To the issue of
why are so many government agencies unwilling to pay? Why?
Problem.
You have capacity. In your budget, they must have set aside money for energy and all that. Why are they refusing to pay? Do you know how much they are owing? Ministries, departments, agencies, they share something in common. Refusal to pay. This is the thing. When they mentioned Aso Rock the other day, I was embarrassed. And the president said, go and pay. He didn't inherit it. I mean, he didn't use the necessity, but he inherited it. He said, go and pay. Right, how can we have a situation like that? You want the sector to improve, yet you use electricity, you have a reluctance to pay. Look at the money that they are owed. Their money trapped everywhere. Look at how much UCH is owing.
Okay, let's make a react to this.
No, I think there's this World Bank program, $750 million World Bank program, domiciled in the Rural Electrification Agency, REA, for off-grid solutions, where there are clusters of residential and industrial in the same area. It will be a win-win situation, scratch my back, I scratch your back, off-grid. That's one plan. The other plans to ensure that, okay, for instance, power coming from the discos can be saved too, such that it, it can be available as a backup for communities. So I think communities can also explore this solution through the REA to, as a solution to this power thing. But definitely, the government has to come to the aid of this. Government has 40% in GenCos and DISCOs. So
yes,
government has to find a way to deal with this energy theft. I agree, the energy theft. So both sides, if you sit the consumers,
if you are not paying, you are a thief.
and sit the DISCOs, you will have a whole day of argument. You can spend the whole day. So
we have another caller.
There
now.
must be a solution.
Okay, it's calling from Osogbo. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon.
Well, I want to make one or 2 points from the earlier topics, but let me quickly talk about this DISCO. Well, I feel like the energy theft is there, but these DISCOs too, if they are not making money, they won't still be in business by now.
Yeah.
They should have sell their company too, that they are making profits. In the right sense. Yes, government agencies are holding and this and that, but it is the layman outside there that they will be giving estimated bill, they will be harassing, doing all those sort of, scrupulous things. It is bad enough. The economic situation is bad enough. Now, tariff hike. It is not good and it's not palatable. So moving on to the first topic, to the topic of Ganduje and the sitting governor right now. Well, if you remember vividly, that kind of a thing happened in Osun when he came in as well. And it was a little bit funny to me because I engaged some of all that. Because if that could be done, like a former governor being probed in a reasonable way, not prejudicially, I think it will set some kind of precedent for other governors coming in, knowing well you get probed by the others, then you sit tight.
All right, okay. Thank you very much for your contribution on the program. All right, so Emeka, you were talking about, the options that can actually be explored.
The upgrade options, yes. The upgrade options are there, and I know that, the plan is to take the use of solar, and renewable energy, beyond just home appliances, take it to a level that can really benefit users. So definitely these things are there. But you see, if there are many Nigerians, millions of Nigerians who are willing to pay, they are willing to get meters, and they are not interested in getting involved in energy theft. We should acknowledge that too. So it doesn't look like it's a general.
Nobody said it's a general thing. You see, I like to look at things holistically. If we just simply look at the discourse, they are the bad boys of the sector because they are the ones that we interface with. People hardly talk about the problems with the others. When we are suffering 46 system failures, is it discourse that caused 46 system failures and all that? That tells you what's going on with us, with the national grid. People hardly talk about that. It's a big problem. Gas supply to GenCos is not regular. Sometimes these boys in the Niger Delta, they will break gas pipeline. And you cannot pipe it. You've just wasted your time. Once you break the pipe, the gas escapes. There's no device by which you can trap the gas. And that gas is meant for power plant. Yeah. Once they don't have the power plant to work with, we have darkness. There is a minimum level of power that must be generated by the quantum of GenCos that we have. If you don't achieve that minimum, you have a system failure. That's why this thing is constant. Many of the problems we have are even gas related. We've not solved that problem of making gas because we even built power plants far away from the source of gas in the Niger Delta. You have power plants in the North Central, far away. We have power plants here in the Lagos area. We have Omotosho, Papa Lanto, Omotosho 1 and 2, the one owned by Davido's father, and all that. Far away from source of gas. And when anything happens and they don't have gas, they can't. So we have, the point I'm trying to make as I round up is that we have a multiplicity of problems affecting that sector. if we simply look at one of the legs of in the relay and think that is the problem, then we are not prepared to solve the problem.
All right,
then I also agree that off-grid electricity access should be boosted. You know, for example, Obudukatu Ranch, I was there when they gave them off-grid power. You can imagine such a beautiful tourist destination not having electricity. So they gave them, and even the people in the hilltop community, they are enjoying it.
Indeed. And as we consider alternatives, we should be mindful also of, you know, the pacts Nigeria has made with climate change and all of that. If we're talking about coal, for instance, but that's a discussion for...
And that's what the South Africans rely on.
Okay. Well, let's look at, you know, a final issue we're considering today. The improvements being witnessed in the foreign exchange market may soon spread to other sectors of the economy. According to the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, the country will witness a bumper year in terms of food availability and prices. I think I'm excited about that. The national president of the association, Kabir Ibrahim, who based the prediction on a strong Naira performance, maintains that Nigerians should expect higher productivity and cheaper products in 2024. Meanwhile, the presidency says the efforts of the Yemi Cardoso-led Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to stabilize the Naira aligns with President Bola Tinubu's approach to ridding the foreign exchange market of sharp practices. It's vowed to continue the clampdown against racketeers, urging Nigerians to expect a stronger Naira that will reflect in a significant drop in the prices of essential commodities by the first quarter of 2025. I'm looking forward to this, and I hope that when that time comes, the market men and women will still not tell us that, things are the way they used to be, or nothing has changed, dollar.
I can tell you straight away why they are optimistic.
Yeah.
The CFA used to be mocked in this sub-region as a very weak currency. I can tell you one of the reasons we have threats to food security, because more and more people are moving outside the country. Yeah. Niger Republic, remember the story of some people who are moving grains across the border, and then those trucks were intercepted, but the president later agreed that, okay, release their grains to them on the condition that they will sell in the Nigerian market. The moment our currency became very weak, when we went to like 1,900 and all that, it became an incentive to food producers here to move what they produce across the border where they will make more money, because the CFA became stronger than the Naira.
Yes.
So why they are optimistic that a stronger Naira will lead to greater food availability is because people will then be discouraged. When you see that our currency has rebounded, people will then be discouraged to go through that pain of shipping what they produce across the border in the hope of making more money. So I'm very confident that the more the Naira gains against the currencies of the world, and it's not against the dollar alone. If you check other currencies, the Naira is doing well against all the currencies. So the more the Naira gains strength, the greater the disincentive to send food across to Benin Republic and other. We had to use force. We had to use the FCC, use customs, immigration to block them, because they were simply not supplying the Nigerian market. They were just pushing everything across. And our border with the Niger Republic, for example, is not less than 750 kilometers, our land borders, stretching across not less than 6-7 states of the north. From the northwest, from Kebbi in the northwest, up to Yobe in the northeast. So it made sense to quickly block them, discourage them from going to sell over there just because they will make more money. So now, with that likely to be out of the way, I'm confident that we would, availability will at least be guaranteed to a large extent. Of course, insecurity it's also a disincentive. You can't go to your farm if you are not sure you won't be killed. So government needs to also deal with the problem of insecurity. So Cardoso has done well, and I would want to see him continue to strengthen the Naira with some of those steps that have been taken to improve transparency, make life difficult for racketeers. I know that, look at the decision that they made, that you can no longer secure your loan that you got in Naira terms with the dollar. So they've told them, people who take loans in Naira, they will use the dollar as some form of collateral. They said, no, you can't do that again.
It has to be.
So all of those things, and then diaspora remittances growing. In a season when your currency is weak, more and more people will send money from abroad trying to do one project or another. So we've actually a lot of dollars coming in now than before from the diaspora remittances. We are also selling treasury bills, using that to attract foreign portfolio investment. You know, because those ones, they want to make money in the short term. So they will buy your treasury bills. We've given them a rate that is very attractive. It's attracting dollars. When I read one publication saying, oh, we are defending the Naira, 18 days, this is an absolute rubbish. Because this was the same publication that told us that the Naira will get to 3,000 to $1. You see, so how did they suddenly discover the Naira can gain strength through greater supply to the forex market? And there are different streams through which money is coming in. Bonds, treasury bills, and the rest. So, but once the Naira gains strength a little bit, they say, oh, they are defending the Naira. Once the CBN supply the market, at the time the CBN was not supplying it enough because Cardoso was saving money to pay the people that we were owing, the airlines, the banks. Now that he spent about $7 billion taking care of such a commitment, he is now able to supply the market a lot more. That's what has happened.
Right, so there's improvement.
In liquidity, there's improvement.
In fact, that, you know, business has, you know, there are principles, you know, in business. You know, if you adopt those principles, you get there, which the former government was really careless about, you know, a lot of these things. And then it's good. They're doing their best, because I know the guys on the streets, those guys, street traders, currency changers, they're seriously complaining that as the Naira is gaining strength, it's really hitting them, it's affecting them badly. And I know it's good that government has said, okay, the BDCs should play a more important role in supplying them and all. But I think government should also look at boosting the real sector with, you know, maybe nothing wrong with government, you know, putting together funds, you know, special intervention funds to help the real sector, so that these big companies that are, you know, talking of closing down factories, declaring losses, can actually bounce back. And then more jobs can be, I'm talking about a stimulus fund, you know. I think government should consider that, you know, so that we protect the investors that are already here, and then we can now encourage more to come in, so that more jobs can be created. You know, and don't forget the issue of, you know, the minimum wage is still an issue that is hanging there, because even when food prices come down, remember when they were even much lower, people were complaining about, you know, being able to afford them. That's why there's a cry for the minimum wage to be increased. So government should consider a number of, you know, measures, should look at that real sector, look at the purchasing power of Nigerians, you know, and then everything will, you know, fall in place. Don't forget the removal of subsidy, you know, had a strong effect on the purchasing power of Nigerians. And then the electricity tariff now is something that, you know, it's going to have its own effect. So government should move in between, you know, yes, stabilizing the Naira, but also move in between to ensure that Nigerians, you know, the purchasing power of Nigerians, you know, improves as the Naira is improving.
All right, gentlemen, it's been great having you both join me on the program today. I've been hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otutoju and Emeka Madunago. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And It's been a good baptism of fire for journalist Hangout.
Is this her debut?
Yes.
Well, it is.
It's such a...
So let's do this.
And we throw you in the deep sea, 2 hours.
All the best.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, that's all on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. Join us tomorrow for the regular episode of the program at 5 p.m. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11:30. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Abosede Adeniran. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked, and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen, following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world,
breaking down intricate economic and financial matters.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrencies.
We unveil and analyze complex policies of the CBN and other government parastatals as they affect your everyday life, keeping you a step ahead every time.
Okay, this is good. Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and governments to get out of